And on top of 4 o'clock, Republic TV gets you some exclusive details of what unfolded inside and outside the JMIU University last evening. This exclusive news break being brought by Shravan Sen, our investigation editor, getting us more details. Republic TV has accessed details of the Delhi police investigation into the events that transpired on Sunday evening, and the revelations are big. Sources telling Republic TV that the entire violence, and Shravan has the details. Shravan, hinting that the violence itself was pre-planned and fake news was planted to instigate the mob. Is that correct?
Well, it's pretty much clear that this was a protest which was basically infiltrated by certain locals, and many would say the antisocial elements. Now, if you simply go by what the Delhi police essentially has to say, it's an initial probe that has been carried out. These are the details that Republic TV has accessed at this point in time. And let's just take our viewers through some of the important pointers put out by the Delhi police with regards to their initial probe. Now, what's very clear, loud and clear, that this entire protest was essentially pre-planned. We're talking about all that started on Friday, because that's when posters were essentially put up in certain areas of Jamia Nagar, where we're given to understand, especially in places like Batla House, etc., in Shaheen Bagh, where you already had posters calling for mobilization of people. And that is the reason why perhaps you're looking at Delhi police now calling it essentially a pre-planned event. That's point number one. Let's just take our viewers, Niranjan, through the breakdown of when it started, how it all started. The clashes essentially took place post 3:30 in the afternoon. Not only buses that were damaged, but even bikes that were set afire. I'll also take you through some of the places here right now where we are broadcasting from, where these burnt bikes have been gathered by the Delhi police right now for the forensic examination. We'll just quickly take you in a while from now. But let's just take our viewers through the other findings. Now, what they're saying is that the clashes broke out in not just one place, but two places simultaneously. In 30 minutes, 4 buses were basically set ablaze, 2 at Mathura Road and 2 at Mata Mandir. So you have roughly about 4 buses that were basically set afire. Set ablaze. Rather, what's very, very important to point out here, that protesters were essentially armed. Now, Niranjan, students being armed is something one will have to take it with a pinch of salt right now, because clearly access to at least stones and Molotov cocktail, that's not going to be easily available. That's only when you have some miscreants who know exactly how to carry out this sort of arson, only they would be in a position. So that is the reason why perhaps you're looking at this probe that has been carried out by the Delhi police, indicating that these miscreants were basically all in order, they were basically armed. Now, as far as intelligence failure is concerned, now remember, for every local police station, there is some amount of human intelligence gathering that takes place, especially when you have such huge gatherings that are coming up. Now, it is just not about Sunday violence that took place. It all started from Friday itself. Friday, there were protests here at the university. Then you had it on Saturday. What the local police essentially perhaps had failed is to gather intelligence with regards to this sort of gathering that took place, because there was large-scale mobilization that took place, Niranjan. Large-scale mobilization could only take place over a period of time. It wouldn't have happened overnight, and that's becoming very clear from this particular probe that has been carried out. Now, what we are being also told that the Southeast district completely failed to assess that anti-social elements were basically part of the crowd that was protesting on Sunday. Then this probe report also suggests that rumor mongering took place to a large extent. In fact, we do have right now, Niranjan, we have access some groups, screenshots of certain groups, WhatsApp groups, which are not putting out right now because there's some amount of verification that needs to be done. But clearly, if you look at those WhatsApp groups, there was rumor mongering that was taking place, essentially trying to pin the blame on Delhi police, that Delhi police had set those buses ablaze, but that wasn't the reality.
Shravan.
In that, you look in those WhatsApp messages that were basically sent across, there was a clear indication of asking people to gather at certain locations.
Yeah, Rhythm is also joining us live along with Piyush, who's in Kolkata. Anuj joining us from outside the JMIU University. Rhythm, it's clear now that there was an attempt to instigate and also mobilize people. Fake news was used to instigate people and bring people together. Rumor mongering also was one of the reasons why so many people gathered. Rhythm, and let's take this conversation forward with Anuj and Piyush as well about the pattern in which this has taken place last evening.
Absolutely. You saw the first protest yesterday actually break out at 11 in the morning. That's when the police has come out, Niranjan, and said that there were certain miscreants who were trying to create damage. Buses had been burnt. There were things that had been happening. There was destruction of public property, which the Prime Minister has spoken of so clearly today and said it's deeply distressing when public property is also destroyed. When the buses were being torched at that time, there was a barrage. They were stopping them from marching to a certain place. That's what the police says. And if that was happening, then question needs to be raised at who it was that was trying to instigate and burn Delhi. The second point is the lobby that has gone into this rampage and trying to talk about the government needs to understand one thing very simply. We need to come to know who started this. We need to come to know who instigated the violence, which is still not happening. If fingers are continuing to be raised by a lobby that is completely vocal on Twitter, trying to fuel certain people, certain students, it needs to be said the Delhi police today has come out and they've clearly given out an indication and a statement. What happened in the capital had been brought on by certain miscreants that were a part of a 1500 mob, a mob that burnt down 4 buses.